What's going on YouTube? It's Sully. Welcome to the Jabroners YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a good, the bad, the ugly of the Cold War Black Ops beta. And we're just going to be talking about whether I think it's going to be a good COD year or not. So let's get right into it. So starting off with the things that I think, this beta did good and what the full game will do well. The colors, this is a much more visually appealing game than Modern Warfare 2019. Everyone knows the last COD, Modern Warfare, was very grayscale. You couldn't see kids that were camping in corners if they had dark skins. You really couldn't distinguish between a box and a player. In this game, it's much different. Now, the graphics might not be, popping off the page or out of this world. Might not be a huge upgrade, but the color scheme is very good. I mean, we've seen from Black Ops in the past, with Black Ops 2 for the most part, and Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, very, very colorful games. This game isn't as colorful as that, but it's still colorful enough to where you can distinguish between a player in a bush and a player in a dark corner. You can actually see them. And it just makes the game more fun, more playable, more enjoyable playing experience. And the new gunsmith, they're showing exact values for attachments, so now you don't need to look up on YouTube the hidden stats that the Merc foregrip's going to give you. It tells you exactly what it's doing. It gives you percentages. It will say plus 90% flinch stability and minus 5% sprint speed, and you can tell exactly how that's affecting your character, which is very, very cool. I will get into the attachments later on when I talk about bad, because there are some things about the attachments that I don't love, but that part I do like a lot. You're not going to be searching around YouTube, for these hidden stats and what the best attachments are. You can really understand what they're doing to your gun and determine if you like that or not. I think the kill streaks are very, very solid. I will talk about them when I go to bad, because I don't know how I feel about the system, but the actual kill streaks are good. I mean, you get the artillery and it's possible to kill 6-7 people with that thing. It's very, very good. The chopper gunner is extremely good. A lot of the kill streaks, they feel rewarding when you get them and they do some damage, similar to, they're not Black Ops 2 level, they're not Modern Warfare 2, but it's not, you get a kill streak, you're like, all right, I'm gonna get 4 kills with this, yay. Like, if you get a chopper gunner, you're gonna do some damage. Getting kills is very satisfying. I think they nailed it on, on the hit marker noises and all that. I mean, you pop someone in the head in this game, you feel like you just did. You feel like it's your birthday or something. And if you get a triple kill, I mean, you should see the points that come up on the screen. It's you feel like you won the lotto. It's ridiculous. It says like plus 600. It's all over your screen, and it's not like intrusive in any way. It's like in a good way. It's all over your screen, so it feels good to get kills, and they feel, it feels like you're getting more than 2 kills even if you just get a double kill, which I think is nice. I feel like the guns are really balanced overall. AK-74U is probably the alpha dog right now in terms of gunplay, but overall I think you can use almost any gun in the game and you will feel very like you're in the thick of things. You can be competitive with almost all the guns, which I like, because you need variety in Call of Duty. You can't just use the same gun every single game. I mean, a lot of people do that, and a lot of CODs, they make you do that because the gunplay isn't extremely balanced. In Modern Warfare, the gunplay is pretty balanced, and I think we're going to see similar, characteristics in Black Ops Cold War. Now, the maps, this is the last thing I have for good on the list. The maps are mostly good. I liked, Satellite, Cartel, I think were really, really solid options. I could have used some changes to both those maps, but overall, I can't complain about those. The other maps, I didn't love them. Moscow, Crossroads, the bigger maps definitely had some drawbacks to them. But at the same time, Modern Warfare 2019 left me with such a sour taste in terms of map design. And I think, getting Cartel and seeing Satellite and even Armada, which was pretty solid map, I can't complain, and I'm going to put it in good, although it is somewhere between good and bad. But Modern Warfare is in ugly if I were to grade that, so a huge step up. Now, moving on to bad. The movement doesn't feel as smooth as Modern Warfare 2019, which is upsetting, but at the same time, I think Modern Warfare 2019 movement was probably the smoothest and, just best we've seen in COD to date. So I don't think, even if you get a downgrade from that, I don't think it's a major problem. But one thing we've seen is sliding is ridiculously overpowered in Black Ops Cold War. It's weird because it doesn't feel very good if you're just doing it in like an open field and running through the map. But if you slide around a corner and someone is, aiming at that door, you will screw with their camera. They won't even know. If you watch the kill cam, it doesn't look if you're the gunner, if you're aiming at that door and someone slides, it does not look the same way as the person that was sliding when you watch the kill cam. It just messes with your camera, which is something Call of Duty has done before, you know, with drop shotting and stuff like that, bunny hopping around corners. You can get an advantage as the attacker, which is good, and I do like this mechanic, but at the same time, I think it's overpowered in terms of the slider. I think they have such an advantage, and jump shotting is also probably crucial and necessary if you're playing a competitive level, which is I totally understand, and that's fine. I think you should be rewarded for, you know, using the harder movement mechanics, but at the same time, I don't think they should be necessary, and I think they shouldn't be, you know, overpowered. But that's where they're at right now, in my opinion. Second thing, kill streak overhaul system. I don't really understand what they've done. I've tried to look it up. A lot of YouTubers and Twitch streamers also don't really understand, but the basic gist of it is they've removed, you know, kill streaks and score streaks, the traditional system of you having to get it in one life, and now it kind of carries over to the, you know, the original support system that used to be in Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, I think they had it, where you'd get kill streaks that, you know, weren't very, they would impact the game and they would help your team, but they wouldn't really kill people. You wouldn't get like a chopper gunner if you died, but now you can, which I don't love, although it is very hard to get the chopper gunner if you're, you know, getting one kill then dying, but it still is possible. So this system feels kind of weird. It doesn't feel as rewarding, you know, because you get the chopper gunner, you're like, all right, I've died 6 times this match, I just got a chopper gunner after getting a triple kill. Like, it's weird. Usually the kill streaks are all coming at the end of rounds because people are, you know, building up that score streak to the end, and they're getting at the very end, and then people have, you know, there's 3 attack helicopters and an airstrike at the last 2 minutes of the game, and sometimes you can't even call your stuff in because it's full. But overall, it just doesn't feel as rewarding, and from a competitive standpoint, it just doesn't really seem fair. To, like, if I come into a game and I see a guy that's, you know, 19-7, but he's got a chopper gunner in the air, I'm like, okay, I mean, he's having a solid game, but does he really deserve that chopper gunner? And I will talk about it in Ugly about how good this chopper gunner is, and at the same time, you don't really have to, you know, do much to get it. But we'll talk about that later. A lot of the attachments, I just talked about the gunsmith, it tells you in good, it tells you exactly what these attachments do, but at the same time, there are, you know, probably 7 or 8 barrels, and there's probably only 2 that you'd ever use. And, you know, one's probably for Warzone, it increases muzzle velocity, all that, decreases your aim down sight speed, and the other one's for multiplayer, where you're getting quick aim down sight speed and you're not worrying as much about your bullet velocity. So I understand that they want to have a nice variety. You don't want to go to the barrels and you see 2. That would suck. You're like, this is COD in 2020, they only got 2 attachments for me. But at the same time, if 9 of the attachments are completely irrelevant and only 2 of them will ever be used, it's pretty much the same thing. So at least give me some benefits, you know, for a reason of why I would use certain attachments. And another thing I liked about Modern Warfare was, you know, there was attachments that would make your M4 into a DMR and your AUG into an assault rifle. You could really change guns and make any gun whatever you wanted it to be. You can't really do that in the new Call of Duty. And I understand it's not modern, it's a Cold War game, but at the same time, you don't have to be extremely realistic. You know, let me have some creativity with my guns. Let me have some fun. So moving on, I'm not a guy that likes vehicles in, you know, in honestly any first-person shooter. I'm more of a boots on the ground gun type of combat kind of guy. But I understand, you know, Battlefield and all those games. Save that shit for Battlefield though, and Titanfall. That's not really in a COD game for me, in my opinion. I mean, I love World at War and they had tanks, but they were pretty easy to kill. In this game, I think that they're just, you know, I understand that you want to have a tank and a boat in ground war, you know, mix it up a little bit, and it can be fun, but they should not be the strongest thing in the game. Call of Duty is, you know, this infantry combat. That's the game. It's not stand in a boat on the outside of the map with an LMG attached to the top and you literally, there's a shield in front of you and you can't be killed. So yes, I understand you can blow it up with a rocket launcher, but it takes a couple and it's just, they kill you instantly with this machine gun. I just think they need to be toned down a little bit, and they can still be used in a way that's fun and makes the game, you know, not the same thing every single time. The last thing for bad is the shotgun secondaries are so much better than the pistols. There's really no reason to be using a pistol in this game. They are better than Modern Warfare 2019. At Modern Warfare 2019, the pistols, honestly, the last few CODs, they've been so obsolete. And the pistols are solid in this game, but the shotguns are just better. There's really no scenario in which you'd rather have a pistol over the shotgun, which I don't like. You know, I miss the days of running around with a pistol and still being able to have a good, you know, kill death ratio and win the game. So I kind of missed that a little bit, but we'll see when the full game releases. Now for the ugly. Now, I don't have a ton of things to say for the ugly, but I do have one pretty big long rant. So, you know, grab your popcorn, sit down, relax, listen to this. Skill-based matchmaking. If you know the Jabroners, you know I am a massive, you know, protester of skill-based matchmaking. So let me just say this. I don't think it was in the combined arms game mode, because I would play that and I saw a couple streamers say that as well, and my experience backs that up. It just felt relaxing. It felt like I was playing COD in the old days. You know, I could run around. Of course I was trying really hard. You don't drop 80 kills and you're not trying. I'm not going to say that. I was probably sweating, but at the same time, it just felt relaxing for me. I wasn't super stressed. It didn't feel like I was trying really hard, but I'm sure I was. Now, the difference is when you go into the regular game modes in Cold War, you know, you're going pretty much, you know, like 26 and 19. That's like a solid game. You fight hard for the win. And the thing about, you know, skill-based matchmaking is every game is supposed to be exactly the same, because everyone is supposed to have the same skill, which lends itself to a campy, slow playstyle, because no one wants to put themselves at a disadvantage. Because if you're both the same skill and you're playing aggressive and you put yourself even at a 10-15% disadvantage, you're probably going to lose that gunfight, because the other person is supposed to be just as good as you. Now, I understand that the system isn't completely accurate, but that's the point of it, and it scarily has gotten very, very accurate. So I just don't want to play a game where I feel the same thing is happening every single game. I miss the old days, you know, Halo 3 would be in a lobby and someone was talking shit to you. You were like a level 20, you know, you were just a corporal, and these kids were like, you know, even a brigadier or maybe a major, whatever it was, and they'd be like, oh, you suck, blah blah blah. And then you get your cousin in there and he's a general, he's a level 50, and you know, you could hear them shaking in their boots over the mic. You're like, these kids are scared of someone that has that general next to their name. It means something. So if you're gonna give me skill-based matchmaking, give me a ranked game mode where I can go into the other game modes that have skill-based matchmaking still, even though they're not for ranked, which just blows my mind, and I can show people that I'm validated for the work that I put into the game. If there's no validation, if there's no ranked system, why am I being, you know, put up against people that are literally the same exact skill for me? It blows my mind. Every big Twitch streamer and YouTuber will agree with me. I swear by that. You know, just no one's a fan of it. We want to have fun playing the game, even if it means little Johnny has to get smoked. If he has to go, you know, 7-51 in a game, that's what it is. That's what it means. Because he's going to have those games where he gets some of those, you know, those exact kids in his game, and he can have some good ones. And, you know, you can't appreciate the good games unless you're having the bad ones. You know what I mean? You gotta have the good with the bad, and you gotta have the bad with the good. It's pretty much the beauty of video games. It's different every time. Skill-based matchmaking, it's pretty much the same. So after that rant, you can put away the popcorn. Let's move on. So the chopper gunner. I know I talked about that in good. I said the kill streaks are very strong, which I do like. I also talked about them in bad. I don't love the system, which leads me, if you combine those two things, it makes kind of an ugly system to the game, an aspect. Because the chopper gunner is extremely good. It takes, you know, 5 or 6 rockets to take down. You can spawn trap with it very easily. It's similar to a Modern Warfare 2 chopper gunner. It's very, very strong. And if this thing is ridiculously overpowered and you can still die, you know, 4 times in your streak to get and you still get the chopper, that doesn't seem very fair to me. I know someone that doesn't really deserve to have this chopper gunner can have the chopper gunner in my game, and he can spawn trap me and kill me 13 times, and their team can win the game. And you know, I go back and I look, and he died 14 times in the game, and it's like, all right, he probably didn't even have a streak longer than 7 kills in the game. Chopper gunners traditionally, you know, around 12 to 14 kills. I don't really know if he deserved that chopper gunner, especially being how good that it is. So that's kind of an ugly aspect I have to it. Another thing is, I've heard some rumors that they're not really making any changes to Warzone. It's pretty much going to be the old map with some of the new guns. They're even going to bring over the old guns. That just doesn't seem like a system that's good for me. I want something new. You know, I love Warzone, but you don't get lazy with it. It's a new COD. You've had years to develop this. Give me something new, at least a new map with some new mechanics. I don't want them to get lazy. That's pretty much what COD does a lot of these years, especially lately. So give me something new. But that's pretty much it for Ugly. I honestly don't have a ton of bad things to say about the multiplayer, as you can see from my list. I think it's going to be a solid year of COD, minus the skill-based matchmaking, of course. But yeah, I'm really hoping they deliver on the other modes, such as zombies and the campaign, because, you know, those round out. You can have fun in multiplayer, but you want to take a break, you want to play some zombies. Obviously, some people think zombies is better than multiplayer, which is totally fair. Sometimes I'm even in that train, especially in recent years. So I hope they do good with the other modes, but regardless, you're going to be seeing the Jabroners stream Cold War a ton on our Twitch channel, Jabroni Boys, one word. So check us out there, follow us on Twitch, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you don't want to miss more content like this. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, comment down below your thoughts on Cold War. But that's pretty much it. I'm Sully, and I'm out.